Ready for a very special live recording of We Got This? Are you ready to bring to the stage the two stars of We Got This with the biggest, most raucous round of applause you can muster right now on Sunday at Dragon Con? So please welcome to the stage Mr. Hal Lublin and Mr. Mark Gagliardi.
This is very exciting. Hi.
Hello. Did you almost fall over just sitting down?
No, I almost sat in Janet's seat. How you guys doing? You having a good time? Awesome.
The best part of our show is our theme song.
Yes.
And we have a very good show. So that is how good the theme song is. So I thought it would be fun to have the actual genius behind the theme song perform it live. Please welcome Mr. Mike Furman.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. Now, with the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle, once and for all, best Disneyland land.
Don't worry, everybody. We got this.
Podcast should have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Mike Furman live.
Mike Furman.
Doing it live. Mike Furman. This is very exciting, Hal.
I forgot to hit record on this part for it, but we're recording it back there.
Oh, my
This
God.
is not the final recording.
What a way to run a
I
railroad.
got so swept up in the moment.
I know. It was super exciting, right?
I'm so excited.
Are you excited to bring our guest out?
I was like, I'm part of this. Hold on. First things first.
What? There's first things?
I'm ready. I just need to take a breath. Get into the moment.
That was the first things first, was
Now
the
I'm
breath
here.
you needed to
let
take?
me take a breath.
All right.
I'm very excited. This person, let me tell you something.
Duh. That was an extension of a game we were goofing around backstage.
She is one of our bestest friends.
Yeah, we love her very, very much.
And on the Mount Rushmore of guests, she is up there. You wanted her. We got her. She's laughing backstage at all of this. Little Janet Varney, everybody.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
So we're here today. First of all, how are you? Are you enjoying your Dragon Con?
I am. I'm enjoying it very much.
Good.
My last thought as I walked out of the hotel room where I briefly checked in with myself before coming here was, I've never looked more like Cyndi Lauper. Not intentional at all.
You have pink hair. This is an audio medium. You have pink hair. You have lots of bracelets.
And I'm wearing a hat. And I'm wearing a dress, and it's kind of like baggy, kind of swishy.
You know what? With the hat, it's like if Cyndi Lauper went to Cuba.
Didn't she?
We don't know where she is right now. Yeah. She could be there.
If
she
anyone knows where Cyndi Lauper is.
Her and Hannibal Lecter are just hanging out.
Yeah,
somewhere.
they're having an old friend for dinner.
That's right.
Well, you look lovely.
Yes.
And we're not here to talk about Cyndi Lauper.
No, we're not. We're here to talk about the happiest place on earth. Specifically, we're not talking about Disney World, but Disneyland.
That's right.
And all of the lands contained therein. And I already have questions.
Disneyland Park.
Disneyland
we're not
Park.
Including
California Adventure.
California Adventure.
We're not including California Adventure.
Okay.
Great. I'm asking you.
Me?
You just were agreeing.
No, I was agreeing that we were not.
Yes, we're not.
Did we figure this out yet?
Screw off,
we know?
DCA.
Okay, so let's start with California Adventure.
Wow. Okay.
I love the winery with the blue sky cellar because it has air conditioning. I can hide in there. I want to thank Caden Kurtz who suggested this topic. Is Caden Kurtz here? I'm so glad none of you lied.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I kind of wish like people. 4 of you had, though. Then we would never know.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the lands at Disneyland. Disneyland holds a special place in my heart. I know in Hal's heart. Tell us about your experiences with visiting Disneyland.
Oh, I've never been. What if that were true?
was
I
not
just
told
want
the
to hear
topic
about them.
before.
They sound wonderful. Weirdly, I've only been to California Adventure.
Dang it, Varney.
Never saw the need to cross the old main area.
Just
What
seemed
is
like
that?
too much.
Plaza?
To cross the Esplanade. Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
The Esplanade.
The Esplanade.
With all the-
Everybody's got their bricks. Like, you
Yeah.
can buy a brick and put it in the thing. Yeah.
That's where the family brick is.
Yeah.
It's in the Esplanade.
And then people buried underneath. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
I am
no,
wrong?
you're not wrong.
Each one
But
is
we
a
don't talk
small
about it.
coffin
Oh, I see,
with the
I see.
cremated remains of whoever's name is
Yeah,
on
like
there.
the streets of Perry.
Yeah.
Each brick has
just
a mason jar
catacombs.
taped under it.
It's not a good
Each
system.
brick is the top of a mason jar.
If you twist the bricks.
No.
So
Disneyland.
We're gonna talk about the lands at Disneyland, and to do that, I'm not looking at my phone like playing a video game or anything. I am looking at the lands and attractions. We have, from the time you walk in, we have Main Street USA, which I am particularly partial to.
Hey.
Stop
I was
trying
the
to tip
mayor of
the
Main
scale.
Street USA.
Yeah,
Take your
stop
thumb
tipping
off
the
the scale,
scale.
Mark.
Adventureland, which I'm very partial to. How's that
Oh, okay,
better?
that's good.
Great,
That's
great,
good.
great.
New Orleans Square, which I am very partial to.
Okay. All right.
Critter Country. How do you feel about it?
Partial
I
to it.
don't hate a critter country. I don't mind. I do like that behind the Winnie the Pooh. I think this is true that there is a full Country Bear Jamboree just
Still
sealed
there.
off.
Yeah.
So there's like secret critter country behind actual critter country.
That's amazing. That is
we
some
also
haunted
have-
stuff.
Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, the newest that just opened in Florida, 2 days ago?
That I really haven't seen.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot. I've seen it a lot.
That's
Do
right.
I like it?
You love it. Oh
Okay,
my gosh,
all right.
it's your favorite.
I'll keep that in mind.
You're partial to it.
Okay. Okay.
Frontierland, Fantasyland, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland.
All of which you're partial to.
All of which I am partial to.
When did Mickey's Toontown become the staging area for bum fights? Have you
Oh,
seen
man.
that YouTube video of the family?
Don't watch this YouTube video.
Oh, no.
It's horrifying.
They're all related, which doesn't make it better. But Disney cast members, how many of you have seen this video by a round of applause? Which seems like a weird thing to bring up.
Yeah.
Great. For the rest of you, get ready for a ride.
Oh.
A family was visiting Mickey's Toontown and got into a terrible fight, which featured a man beating up not only men, but I believe his sisters as well, or cousins. And the cast members are not allowed to engage. You cannot engage. This is true. You have to wait for Anaheim police to get involved. And I guess they were busy. It is a very long video, but it takes place in the youngest and most childlike area of the park.
Directly in front of Goofy's house.
Yeah.
Like, Goofy's house is here. Donald's weird boathouse is here. Giant family fight in the middle. And one lady just standing there like this.
Oh my.
It's like Goofy lives in Danny Glover's house in Lethal Weapon 1, where Gary Busey and Mel Gibson fight on his lawn.
I can't believe. I guess I'm surprised that videos even get out. Somehow I feel like Disney somehow would just stop.
Like they have a signal blocker?
When they buy the internet, they will be able to just shut it all down.
First thing is an electromagnetic pulse to the entire
That's right.
area.
That's right. It's worth it. It's worth it.
You gotta have it. You gotta have it.
That is one of many reasons why Toontown is not going to win.
Yeah.
The other glaring one, I think, is there are no trees in Toontown. There are a couple scattered here and there, but you walk through there and it is a sweltering hot concrete jungle with very cool stuff to look at.
Yeah.
You're like, this is Mickey's house. He should have picked a much better neighborhood. He's Mickey Mouse. He couldn't live closer to town, like right near Main Street.
Yeah.
But it's the furthest one. It's the suburb. It's on the other side of the original, because the original outline of Disneyland was the train track, and Toontown you go to the wrong side of the tracks. And you are greeted by the Roger Rabbit ride.
Aww.
I love Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
I was him for Halloween once. But yeah, you guys, what do you think of Toontown?
Well, this is going to be a hard thing to talk about. I mean, there are harder things to talk about, but I think this will be hard to judge because it is something that there's so much emotional attachment to, you know?
Yeah.
So I remember when Toontown opened, I'm from Arizona, but my dad would always take we would always go to Disneyland in the summer. And I remember like how exciting it was when Toontown opened and how mind blowing it seemed that there were hills that weren't real.
Yeah.
That then stopped at the
said
sky.
Toontown
And
like
somehow,
Hollywood.
yeah, it felt like, and I loved Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
Right.
and it did come out not long after that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of really fond memories of being there with my dad and just thinking everything was amazing and like thinking like, there's so much hidden stuff in here.
Yeah.
Like everything seemed very hidden.
Like a
now
Fight
it seems
Club?
more like, well, you just open up the mailbox. Like, yeah, of course you're
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
open the
yeah.
mailbox and a sound will come out. But it was so new at the time. We felt like we were finding stuff no one else would ever find.
And they do a great job of things like that. Like
Yeah.
the Imagineers, they think of the big moments and they think of the tiny moments. I'm sorry that I just ruined your childhood.
And it's really okay. But since I've been back to Toontown, I find I'm trying harder and harder to recapture that sense of wonder.
Well,
Yeah.
it seems like it's the one that is like, well, this one is the one. If you're really little kids, this is the one
Right.
for you. It's like you already have that. It's Fantasyland.
I know. But you know what? That little tiny quick roller coaster is more fun than it seems like it's
Oh,
going to be.
the Gadget Go Coaster?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I mean, it's over as you're getting in. They're like, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And you get back out.
Did you have this problem? You're a taller person as well. In where all of the rides there, almost every ride
Yeah.
car at Disneyland is so small that your knees
Yeah.
are they
You
hurt.
have little
Yeah.
red dents in your knees
Yeah.
if you ride anything.
The Gadget Go Coaster
Yeah.
is that for sure. I wanted to
Yeah.
have a good time, but I was just like, I'm old and my knees hurt. When does this end?
I don't have that
Luckily,
problem.
it
My
already
feet
did.
still dangle.
Before you had time to have
Yeah,
that
exactly.
thought, it was over.
When will this? Oh, now I have to figure out how to get out.
Yeah.
I'm trapped. That's my Disney voice, everybody. This is pure magic.
Hal, Toontown?
I don't care for it, but I realize that I only encountered it as an adult. I think
Right.
it's great that there's an area that is specifically for younger children. There's some of that in Fantasyland in particular has a lot of smaller children rides, and the park has certainly grown over the years to become more inclusive so that adults have a magical experience as well. And Mickey's Toontown, for me, once I had gone and seen it like 2 or 3 times, there's no reason for me to ever go back there again.
Yeah.
That's the. I don't think it's a contender for this,
No.
Yeah.
and I hate it.
It was exciting as a kid the first time that I went to Mickey's house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is where Mickey Mouse lives.
I'm gonna look
And
at his.
it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at his.
What's in Mickey's medicine cabinet? I can't wait to find out what he's on.
Peel back that shower curtain. See what kind of ear shampoo he uses.
There's nothing in his fridge but white wine and Cheez-Its. Who refrigerates crackers? It's not even that humid here.
Yeah, you can turn your fridge up, Mickey. This cheese shouldn't be sweating. Here's a cool detail about Toontown that I love. Goofy's house. The Imagineers gave themselves a challenge in making it. There are no right angles in Goofy's house, which is it's like a Tudor house, like a proper, but there are no right angles in it. The whole thing is
So UPS
crazy
driver is like, what do I do? Couldn't have seen a UPS joke coming. Didn't know that was going to happen.
No one sees the UPS joke coming. All right, where do you want to talk about next? Should we just, since that is the very back of the park, should we just make a circle?
Yeah. Did you mention Tomorrowland in your list? By
I did.
The way?
It was the last one.
We got there. I didn't know if I derailed us before you mentioned it.
If you demonorailed us.
Ooh.
Well done. Well done. Golf clap. Yes.
That got polite opera applause. Oh, well done.
And
Very well.
I gave an opera bow, if memory serves.
Took the long gloves off.
That's right.
All right, so let's move then to. I'm looking at. Feel free to pull up a map of Disneyland on your phones, like I did.
Now, of course, we're going to be going through land by land inside It's a Small World. I
Yes.
have to assume.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like any child wearing lederhosen
Yeah.
or anything that looks like lederhosen.
And also, Mark, thank you for at a live show encouraging everyone to look down at their phones.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, pull out your phones.
Quick.
Just check your text messages right now.
Just while you're on there, you might have gotten an email or two.
Yeah.
Time to check. We're all going back to work
Yeah.
on Tuesday.
Hang on, I got a quick Gardenscapes thing to do. Ooh, I got begonias.
It's true that you
Okay.
play Gardenscapes and I play Homescapes.
Yeah.
Which, if you're not familiar, it tells the story collectively of the weirdest butler in the world. Lives with his
what a
parents
busy guy.
in what was a haunted house for sure before the
Yeah.
renovations.
But it's a very colorful haunted house.
What did you name the cat? Does he have the cat in Gardenscapes? There's a cat that you have to name.
I played both of them. I played one where there's a cat and one where there's a dog.
There's a dog in, I think,
I named the
Gardenscapes.
dog Pryor and the cat Carlin. Yeah, for comedy.
Every time.
No opera applause for that. Just good old comedy club silence. I wish that guy's cricket phone had gone off.
I know. This guy had a cricket phone the other day that went off at the worst time.
Yeah.
Somebody said a terrible joke and just.
But then we decided that crickets like comedy
Yes.
and they feel bad because people misunderstand. They get the one joke no one else gets.
Yeah.
And then they're cheering. And then
They're
the comedian is like,
laughing.
oh, I bombed, even the cricket.
If you zoomed in on a
love
bunch of
them.
crickets, it looks like Def Comedy Jam. They're
Yeah.
just losing their
They
mind.
love it.
Bang,
Love
they're
it.
going crazy.
Yeah. Anywho.
Well, we started talking about Fantasyland.
Yeah.
It's not exactly in the circle, but we'll go due south, cross back onto the right side of the train tracks, past the Fantasyland Theater and into Fantasyland proper, which is, of course, on the back wall of it is the giant It's a Small World. I love It's a Small World.
Oh, I do too.
I do too.
It's an earworm, but it's so
an
fun.
earworm. Oh, I get choked up every time.
Do you?
I
Do you get
do.
choked? What makes
I
you
do.
emotional about it?
I don't know. I mean, I really do. I mean, I think that, first of all, I full on drink the Kool-Aid. Like, while I'm in it, that earworm gets inside my heart
Oh, yeah.
to be a heartworm. So I have to take my dog's medication when I get home. But I honestly am. I'm like, and it's one of those things that it's like the emotional version of like the long Simpsons joke that is really funny when it starts, and then it kind of gets tired, and then it's really tired, and then it gets funny again at the end.
Yeah.
I think that there's some point, like at the beginning, like, I forgot. Why don't I ever ride this one? I forgot. I love this. And then, halfway through, I'm like, this is what time is, something. And then by the end, I'm like, it is a small world after all. Yeah.
My favorite time to go to It's a Small World is during the holidays, because someone's job is to go and do like, well, what does every culture in the world do at this time of year? And so there's like American Christmas and English Christmas and
And
all different-
Tahitian Christmas.
Yeah.
And also Israeli Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the
Hang
thing when you're
on.
like there are places in the world that do not celebrate Christmas. You're like, all right, Disneyland Imagineer, let's see what you came up with, and I hope it is not going to anger anybody.
It is also very good on a hot day because it's air conditioned.
Yeah.
I think Fantasyland might be the most densely packed land in terms of rides. You have that. You have the Storybook Canals. You have Casey Jr. Circus Train,
Alice in
Dumbo,
Wonderland.
There are
Alice in
15
Wonderland.
rides.
Yeah.
And
King
Yeah.
Arthur's Carousel.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
I forgot
is that how
that
you
that's
pronounce
King
it?
Arthur's.
Yeah.
Carousel?
Carousel.
Well, you say Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah.
I've been sitting on that since 5 minutes ago when you said Halloween. I was like,
It's just
he
in honor
loves
of my
Hal.
partner.
He really loves
Yeah.
Hal.
What do you say, Halloween?
Is it Carousel?
I also say umbrella, but, it's where I'm from.
It makes it sound like there's a different kind of umbrella for those of us who do you have an umbrella or a umbrella?
Or I'm trying to remember what umbrella is called.
Umbrella. Nope, that made it umbrella again. Never mind.
But yeah, it's super dense. It's got some of the classics. Snow White, Peter Pan's Flight,
The dark rides.
the dark rides.
Yeah.
The dark rides.
I do
Plenty of
love the
dark
dark
rides.
rides.
Yeah.
What are you guys' favorites of that in the Fantasyland dark rides?
I haven't ridden Snow White in a while. You know what? I don't know if I've ridden Pinocchio in a while either.
No one ever
That
rides
sounds-
Pinocchio.
All of these things sound dirty all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
The dark rides.
dark rides.
They have a tough job
Thank you.
because they have to communicate the entire film, which is generally about 80 minutes long, over the course of what feels like 15 seconds.
Yeah. Just flap, flap, flap.
Yeah.
Then this flaps in front of you. Then it flaps
There are
away.
a
Then
lot
this
of-
flaps in front of you.
There are a
Flap
lot of
away.
flat flaps.
Yeah.
Snow White is about a mine and
Yeah.
some people who work there, and then the back 2/3 of it is
so
about
true.
the queen turning into the witch and then dying. She's falling off the cliff, and then you get off.
They do spend a lot of time on that ride
Yeah.
focusing on, hey, you want to see these dwarves kill a witch?
Yeah.
Well,
Like, that is way more of the ride than it should be.
isn't it? I mean, were they like? I mean, this is kind of like a mine, so let's mine
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
No, take your opera bow. I want to talk briefly about Peter Pan's flight.
By the way,
is-
I just before you
You
move
couldn't
on.
have said that more like we were on a real show for
Yeah.
a second. No, I do briefly
Yeah, so-
want to. I think we
but-
need to address Peter Pan's flight.
Yeah,
very
before we
briefly.
go to break, I'm getting in my ear right now that there is a development at Peter Pan's flight.
It's wonderful,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I hate that it has always such a long line because everyone else knows how wonderful it is.
The longest of lines. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a good ride, though. I don't think Fantasyland is the best land. Because I think it doesn't have a huge...
I'm not ready to make that
a
decision
huge
yet.
wow ride.
It needs one.
I think so.
Let's-
To make it memorable.
Let's take this apart right now. Then what do we think are going to be the criteria for what is the best land? Like having a tentpole ride.
Yep.
For me, it's theming.
Okay.
Fewest fist fights. That's one.
Sorry, Toontown.
I'm going to say I think for me most transportive, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
makes you feel the most like you've left your own world and life, and
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
feel like you're really part of something else. Immersive, most
Yeah.
immersive, maybe.
Immersive.
Which does not lend Fantasyland toward being the winner because it's like you're in an amusement park and this is the part
Yeah.
that's themed amusement park.
Right.
Fantasyland does have a wow ride because I just realized Matterhorn is in
Yes.
Fantasyland. That might be the sort of the big. That's like the
Yeah.
big ride.
I never think of Matterhorn as being in Fantasyland. It just seems
Right.
But
like,
where do you, it's just
like
there.
a monolith that is between the lands.
You know
Yeah.
that fantasy of the Yeti chasing you down and devouring you?
Don't judge, Hal.
Never. No, I would never.
Everyone has different fantasies.
I don't want to yuck your yum.
For those who don't know, yes, there is a basketball court inside the Matterhorn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot all those good tidbits.
These little-
I know
little
there are
details.
even more tidbits than when my dad and I bought Behind the Ears, which was like the only book that was sort of inside Disneyland.
Ooh, I don't know.
And it came out in the 90s, maybe 80s.
Did
I
you
don't
and your
know,
dad go a
90s.
lot together
Yeah.
to Disneyland?
Yeah. I would say for the most part of my life until I graduated from high school, I only went to Disneyland with my dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like,
He was always there.
only went to like your
I mean,
thing.
I didn't show up and there he was. We
Yeah.
went together, to be clear.
But when you took a
Yeah.
vacation together, it was like, well, we're just going to go to Disneyland.
Yeah, we had friends who lived in, my dad's best friends from college lived in La Cañada, Flint Ridge, which is just kind of north of Los Angeles. And so we would drive, my dad would, I'll make this very brief, so it has nothing to do with Disneyland, except that we would go to Disneyland. So my dad it was so hot driving from Tucson, where I'm from, to Los Angeles, that my dad would, leave in the middle of the night to avoid traffic. And so he would kind of sleep during the day. I mean, he had this all figured out. So I would go to bed at my normal time when I was little, and then he would like wake me up in the middle of the night and be like, "Do you want to go to Disneyland?"
Oh my God, that's the coolest.
And I would be like, "Yeah." And then I would get into the parents. I'm not saying you should do this, and I'm so glad that nothing happened.
Oh God.
But I would get into the cab of our Datsun pickup truck that was like had the hard shell and climb onto the carpeted whatever back of the, and then it'd be in my dad's goose down sleeping bag, and then I would sleep most of the way. And so when I would wake up, it would be like an hour or two away from LA, and then we would stop and I would climb in the passenger seat and we'd listen to Jackson Brown. It was cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, so I associate Disneyland with that feeling of like, oh, I'm gonna fall, almost like Christmas morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't remember. Oh, so yeah, we would, and so that would be part of that trip would be seeing the Weavers. Shout out to the Weavers, and we would go to Disneyland. Yeah.
I love that.
And then sometimes we would go during rodeo vacation, which is a weird thing that we have in Arizona. I don't know if
That's
any
where you just
rodeos
start
happen.
the car and then lasso it and run behind it.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. In February we would have a 3-day weekend called Rodeo Vacation, and no one else anywhere had it. So that was another time that my dad and I could go to Disneyland because we knew that no one would be there. Like that Friday would be very quiet.
Your secret Arizona vacation that no other state got.
Yeah, thanks, Rodeo Weekend. Rodeo Weekend.
Let's move in the circle to
Wait, so you've still cast out? I know this is going to be okay.
I'm saying I don't think
Ken
that's
Plummer's
accurate.
gonna kill us for
Because
all
now
this
that you've
noise.
added back in the Matterhorn, I didn't know if that
Yeah,
left it more open
maybe
for
so.
you.
We can just sort of leave it idling.
I want to touch on the Peter Pan ride for just a moment.
Look, I watch a lot of 24-hour news channels, so that's. I'm being told we're going to break.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now. We're coming right back.
Okay.
No, so let's move over from Fantasyland. We'll end in Tomorrowland. Let's go in the circle counterclockwise to Frontierland. Now, immersive. That's Frontierland for me.
Yeah. What about Adventureland?
Well, Adventureland is immersive too. There's not only one immersive one.
At the end of this, there will only be one.
Oh no!
And they'll close down the rest of the land. Am I wrong?
No.
Janet, I love that the other episode that we had you as our we talked about childhood toys, and then we eliminated those one by one. So now we're eliminating all of your Disney memories one by one. We are terrible people to you. I apologize for what we do to you on this show.
It's time for me to grow up, finally. I'm ready.
Never. Don't you ever grow up. Quick, get on the Peter Pan ride. I mean, there's no such thing as quick, get on the Peter Pan ride.
Before it's shut down forever in case that doesn't win.
Yeah. If it doesn't win, this is a direct beeline to Anaheim.
I want a nap room that is just the being over the town and then going into where you see all the twinkling lights down below and the stars in the sky.
Yeah.
I wish you
yeah.
could just. I would love to just nap.
You want to hop out of the thing and just crawl into Wendy's bed when she and the rest of the kids leave? Like,
Now that
well,
you
they're not
mention
using it right now. Good night.
Yeah, waste not, want not. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel you.
Okay, yes. Frontierland. I apologize.
Let's go to Frontierland. It is immersive.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the Golden Horseshoe. You've got. It's tough now with the riverboat and the Columbia now being cut off because when they built Galaxy's Edge, the Rivers of America no longer makes a full loop. So those rides have been significantly
so many
curtailed.
countries are experiencing counties are experiencing a serious drought.
Yeah.
But do
more
a
river.
lot of kids
They
show up
dammed
in
it
the
up.
park and go, I can't wait to get on the riverboat?
I think they did in 1955.
Yeah. They probably did.
Yeah.
When it was like that or some other rides that were going to break down and the ground is melting because it's so hot out of the park has opened.
Yeah. I think I've been on each one of those once.
Yeah.
And I've been to Disneyland many, many times.
I did a show once on the Columbia, on the pirate ship, which the rehearsals for were great because we did them in the middle of the night. And we figured out where the latch was to open up the captain's quarters. So we would go and sit down, like actually, we would have been in so much trouble. But we sat in the captain's quarters and just chilled in there. But doing the show during the day, it is 10 degrees hotter on the deck of the Columbia than it is anywhere else in the park. And it was 116 degrees one day when we did the show.
And the show was an aerobics class.
Yeah. And I was in like layers of burlap and linen. So yeah, it was.
Well, now you know what the real pirates had to go through.
So I appreciate going on that once. Like, if you go on that, you go to Disneyland, you get on the Columbia, and you're like, oh, I've made a terrible mistake. It is very warm.
Yeah.
But it does have Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
It sure does.
It doesn't
boy.
have the ranch anymore, which is great. That is gone also because of Galaxy's Edge.
Big Thunder Ranch, the picnic area.
Yeah.
Petting zoo.
Yeah, and the petting zoo with reindeer at Christmas time. When you're like, sure, Old West reindeer. This is great.
Yeah, they're just passing through.
Yeah.
You know what they're also doing? Shedding a lot. Like, that reindeer is really shedding right now.
I didn't realize animals could sweat. Look at that thing. It weighs 10 pounds now.
But yeah, I love the immersion there. I'm partial to the Golden Horseshoe. I think the Golden Horseshoe Review is one of those classics. It was.
Isn't that where Matt, Mark McConville?
Yeah, that whole it was all we all did
Super
Laughing
Ego and
Stock
you guys,
there,
yeah.
But prior prior to that, it was
Prior the cat to that.
prior the cat to that.
Bet you wish I had that clicker now.
Yeah, right. It was where Wally Bogue performed. The great Wally Bogue, who was there for like 30 years, was so popular there that he wound up hosting an episode of The Muppet Show. That's how many people knew this guy.
That's awesome.
And Steve Martin used to go and sit and watch his act and borrow from it when he was a young magician on Main Street. But yeah, he speaks so highly of Wally Bogue, and that sort of is one of those Disneyland legendary places that I think that's sort of the centerpiece of Frontierland.
Yeah, that's that Frontierland. That's a really good one.
Yeah,
because Thunder Mountain that's been a long time favorite in my family.
Is it?
Yeah.
For generations. Too.
Really? You and your dad both?
Oh yeah, I love that ride.
Is that your favorite of the mountains?
Of all the mountains, like what for between?
Space
Space Mountain,
Splash
Matterhorn,
Mountain,
and Splash Mountain. Yeah, Thunder Mountain.
Thunder Mountain.
What do you like so much about it? What's your favorite? I love it too. I'm just curious.
I don't know. It has just the right amount of everything for me. Like I don't love a ton of. I mean, I used to go on crazy roller coasters and stuff, and now I just want to feel like I'm not going to die. I guess back then I wanted to feel like I was going to die, but now I like just the right amount. Like the Cars ride did it too, and I know it's verboten that we talk about California Adventure, but that has like the right amount. And Disneyland, I think the Imagineers are good at figuring out like what's the sort of average of like how many stomach drops you can have or whatever. But that one for me always like gives me a thrill. But I never feel like I feel like I could still go on it after I ate.
Yeah.
Which I would have because I really like that Mexican food place that's right next door.
Oh, Rancho del Zocalo. Oh, it's really good.
The birthplace of Doritos.
Wait, what?
When it was the Frito-Lay, it used to be sponsored by Fritos, and they would take the old tortillas and fry them up and sell them, and that's where Doritos were born.
What?
Yeah. Surprise. Surprise, everybody.
That.
Know
That's
that.
amazing.
So it has a notable place not only in theme park history because of Wally Bogue, but in culinary history, even outside the park.
Culinary.
Yeah.
It has, let's say, chipular. In chipular history.
I want to know why Rancho del Zocalo had cheese powder. Like, did they just have
it wasn't
the
nacho cheese flavored at first. That didn't
They were
come
just
until
corn
the
chips?
70s. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Corn chips.
I thought they were like, well, we have all these tortillas and this cheese powder we put on the tacos. Like,
Yeah.
Well, it was the 60s.
that's also where the turkey legs are. Is Frontierland.
Yep. That's one of the places.
But
Yeah.
on the other hand, they have the guns. And my dad was not happy about that.
Not happy about
He was
it.
like, they got to get rid of that shooting range. I don't like that. He's very anti-gun.
How else are you going to get that bat off of that tombstone?
Yeah, how else are you going to make that skull's antlers twirl?
Anyway, he thought it was too realistic.
It is attraction-wise kind of
Yeah.
lame. It
And
has
Tom
the
Sawyer's
one...
Island.
Is
Tom
that
Sawyer's Island.
Is that still a thing?
It's weird because Tom Sawyer's Island was part of Frontierland.
It is Frontierland.
It is
not
Frontierland technically.
Okay.
But it's a bizarre thing because I opened that. It was I love Tom Sawyer's Island because it was just a quiet like retreat that just had cool caves
and it seemed like no one was ever really on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it really felt like you were Tom Sawyer because you would find all these little like
The
nooks and crannies in the
fork in the
caves.
back.
Yeah.
And it did have that thing like you mentioned the mailbox that makes noises.
Yeah.
It had lots of those little sort of treat things. But when the second Pirates movie came out, they turned the whole thing into Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer Island.
Oh.
So it's like, okay, it feels like a hat on a hat. But,
Yeah. No kidding.
right.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. They put some like buried pirate treasure and things in there. But it feels like a weird little bit of Adventureland in the middle of California, now I'm saying it, California Adventure, not in the middle of Frontierland. So let's move now. Unless do you think we've exhausted Frontierland?
I feel like we covered it.
Yeah.
So let's move to teeny tiny land just off of Frontierland, and that is Critter Country.
Yes.
Which features the ride Splash Mountain, which is not based on any movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all that Critter Country is
Yeah.
the Winnie the Pooh ride. There's a
The The
cafeteria.
haunted, invisible to the public Country Bear
Yeah,
Jamboree.
the country bear and the iron mask behind that wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna be Critter Country.
No.
Is it?
I mean, no.
It's fun.
But
They're
Splash
all
Mountain,
fun. That's
that
the
was a
thing.
huge. I mean, that was a.
Are we killing another childhood thing? For you?
No, but it was exciting. Like that
Yeah.
log ride. I mean, when I worked up finally the courage to go on the log ride as a kid, I felt like maybe I was going to become a pilot.
Was that the one thing?
Hold on a
Great.
second.
I was like, I think I'm flying. Yeah, this has got to be part of the pilot test.
Remember that scene
Flying
in Top
logs,
Gun
I guess.
Yeah.
where they all had to go
in a log
after the
Yeah.
volleyball
down
game?
Flume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the big splash, and they high-fived, and a big puddle shot up from between their hands.
Yeah.
But I never knew that was a traditional ride. Like, I didn't realize that the log flume ride was like an early amusement park icon. I didn't realize that. I thought that they came up with that whole cloth,
And it's missing the best part of any log flume, which is the bridge that stands right just in front of the big splash. So as you come down, those people get soaked. So when if you want to play a trick on Grandma, say, "Watch me go down the log flume, Grandma."
Yeah.
Why
And
does
then
it
stay
have to
right
be
here.
Grandma?
She gets soaked. Because she's so trusting. I didn't make these rules. Just communicating them.
Oh no! Yeah, not Critter Country.
It's
Not
not
Critter Country.
Not Critter
Yeah.
Country.
No.
But Critter Country is fun, and the Splash Mountain is great. It's got the great riverboat scene at the end with all the America Sings?
America Sings. Yeah.
But it's not Critter Country. What's next going around the horn? Oh, this one.
Are we going to talk about New Orleans Square and Adventureland, or are they situated?
There. So we went this way and then up and around. We went around the rivers of America and down.
How many of you, like me, are actually imagining like yourself walking from? I fully am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, came around, go under the bridge. Okay, yeah, passing like some sort of churro or other. Or maybe isn't there one of the Dole places there where you're like,
That's at
sliced
Adventureland.
apples?
The Dole Whips in Adventureland.
Sliced apples.
Yeah.
You went to
Those Dole sliced apples that we all love so much. Hey, let me get some of those Chiquita grapes and a Dole apple, because I'm at Disneyland and I'm being bad. I'm being a little bad.
Granny Smith brought us bananas. So let's go to New Orleans Square.
Okay.
New Orleans Square is maybe my favorite.
Yeah, and that's got the club.
It's got Club 33, which is the secret Disneyland club. It's got Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion.
Oh yeah,
That is
watch out, everybody.
Yeah. And also
And it has that the jumbo or the jambalaya or the gumbo that everyone loves. I made that one thing. I took two words and
the
put them together.
jambalaya?
Yeah, portmanteau.
It also has Blue Bayou, which is the only kind of fine dining that everybody can do. Fine dining.
Where does it fall in culinary history?
Yeah, which chip did it make?
There is a restaurant. I don't think it's that one. I think it might be Belle Terrace that helped popularize the Monte Cristo.
It's that
I
one.
have heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Blue Bayou, yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's some culinary history there.
Yeah. And it's also charming.
Fat
New
Killer
Orleans
history.
Square when you go in and,
There was those little alleyways that go up in the back, like that is, you want to talk immersive, like that is,
Yeah.
that to me feels like, there's the Mardi Gras beads and you've got these narrow sort of French Quarter streets.
yeah, it really feels like something's there
Yeah.
that you want access to.
There was a guy named Ernie. And Ernie, I don't know if anybody ever saw Ernie. You may have. You probably did as a child.
On Sesame Street.
I
know him.
Ernie was he's since passed away. He was very, very old when I knew him. And he sat with a guitar. He was a musician in New Orleans Square, which also I think has the best music of any land. They have all like 3 different bands that are great. But Ernie would sit. He just had a stool, and he sat on his stool, and he played blues guitar, and he was quiet, and you would just go and you just stand and listen to Ernie. And Ernie was hired by Walt Disney several years before and had worked at the park for like 40 years. And Ernie got whatever he wanted. Ernie had a limo pick him up at home and take him back home at the end of the day, every day.
Wow.
Like, just because he was he was the patriarch of the performers in that park. And if Ernie started talking, every musician, every actor was just like, yes, sir. Yes.
Wow.
Whatever. He was Yoda. He was amazing.
Yeah.
So that's another reason that I just love New Orleans Square.
You told me a story once, I don't know if you've ever told it in this podcast, about being backstage and one of the musicians, I think from New Orleans Square, coming back and going, man, I just played the greatest lick of my entire life. And then somebody came and asked me where the bathroom was. Was that Ernie?
That was Ernie.
Wow. That's a great story.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's Ernie. He was awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, that area is great. It has my personal favorite princess, Tiana, who I think is very underrated. That's her sort of home turf.
Yeah.
Great food. It's densely packed. It is really immersive. I think that would certainly be a finalist for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, and
the-
Pirates and the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah,
That's a
two of the
big
most
deal.
iconic Disney rides. Those are their only attractions are ones that you would specifically go there to experience.
Yeah.
So we have our first finalist.
Yes.
And our
We
first
do.
finalist is...
Critter Country. What? I wasn't listening. What happened?
All right. So moving around the horn, let's go now to Adventureland. Adventureland, another super immersive one, also has
Oh,
iconic
it has the Indiana
classics.
Jones ride.
Indiana Jones.
I
maybe the
remember
most
when that
immersive ride.
opened too. What a big deal that was.
Did you guys go? Did you and your dad go?
Yeah,
Right
when it first opened, they had these. I don't know if you guys remember that, but they had these like code decoders. These it was sponsored by AT&T, and they gave you these like decoder cards, and there are secret messages in code written to keep you entertained as you wait for hours in line all the way through to getting in the truck. There were like messages you would find on the walls that were in code.
Do you remember any of the messages?
Well, no, I think the very last message truly was like a full-on AT&T advertisement. It was like, remember AT&T made this fun for you or whatever. Maybe not that. Maybe not that. But also I think if you just like really just kind of look at the code in today's world, you can fully discern what each letter is. It's like, oh, that's sort of the shape of an E. I see. Okay, so it's an E.
The A is just an A without the little line in the middle.
I think it is. I think it is. But it was very exciting to feel, again, to have that feeling of like, it's just very thoughtful.
Were a lot of the messages like, get ready to round this corner and look at another rock with a rope tied around it?
Maybe. I don't remember what the messages were, so that doesn't speak well of the messages, I guess.
Can you believe all this bamboo?
But we also have in that area, we also have the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
And that's a totally different river than the rivers of America. And the lushest area, I think this is an area where foliage does a lot of the work. Because it's adventure, so that's just, it's coolest. I think it's probably the coolest area in the park. I don't mean like the coolest, but like the temperature is lovely.
Yeah.
Because of all of the coverage, and there's the great big bazaar there. What other rides we have there?
And that's where the real comedy lives. Is on the Jungle Cruise, because everyone has their own set of puns.
Have you ever been on it where someone tried to just do as many as they could? Because the deal on the Jungle Cruise.
Talking.
Yeah, it's insane. Like you can pick from their sort of like a bullpen of jokes that you use on the Jungle Cruise, and it's like, oh, the backside of water. Everybody uses that one, but and I had one Jungle Cruise operator once who just full on was like, I'm going to get every one of the jokes that has ever been written. It was like, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jungle Cruise. And they were just rapid fire the whole way. And we were just sitting there like paying no attention to the ride, just like, go. It was amazing.
I do feel like I've had equal parts people who are really into it, who sell the experience and sell the jokes, and then people who are definitely like, and if you turn around, there's a hippo. Whoa, hippo! Like how hypocritical or whatever. But
There's
their
my
voice
friend Ina.
never.
Everybody say hi, Ina.
It's exactly the same. They never change any part of it. It's all flat.
I had one once who told really good jokes, but everything was done with this voice. Yeah. At the end of every joke, it was like, look at those lions. They're over there hanging out with that hyena. Yeah. And it was the holidays, too. It has my personal favorite holiday overlay is when they turn it into the Jingle Cruise, which I think is a very good
the
time.
Jingle Cruise is fun.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's basically the hippo has a Santa hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're
And they just... Yeah,
All
the
right.
camp that has been
Decorations.
wrecked. It was a Christmas camp,
Oh,
Yeah.
which is also kind of sad. Merry Christmas, Disneyland. Who tossed the camp?
that's terrible. Oh, no.
In terms of attractions, there's now the Tarzan treehouse, once the Swiss Family Robinson
I
treehouse.
loved it when I was Swiss Family Robinson.
And then another groundbreaking piece of entertainment, the Enchanted Tiki Room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Now that is a Dole thing.
That is
Yes.
that is where the
that
Dole
is where you
Whip
get the
is.
Dole Whips.
Yeah.
Which you can get with Apple now. I just found out.
Still a favorite. That's an oldie but goodie. People
Yeah.
still say that's their favorite
Land?
ride experience,
their
the Tiki
favorite.
Room.
Yeah.
I think and the newly redesigned Aladdin's Oasis,
It's now the Tropical Hideaway.
Tropical Hideaway,
Which
yeah.
is just another Dole Whip stand, but they have like raspberry, different flavors. Maybe there's apple there now. I can't remember.
Sliced apples. I wasn't saying it like that's a highlight for me.
I know. Weren't you?
I don't know.
So this feels like a contender as
Yeah.
well.
No, I would say it's a contender.
I'd say, yeah.
I think so. It's interesting in a different way. The Indiana Jones is a thrill ride. It still bugs me that there are at least 2 areas of it that are completely unfinished. So you just ride in the dark while you hear,
Oh, that's the darts shooting at you from the...
maybe?
Wait, is that
It does seem
unfinished?
like there's a good chunk of that ride that you're like, oh, it is. We're in a blackout for
Yeah.
like...
Look out, a shadow's going to blow on you!
What are you expecting? Like actual darts
To
fly?
see something?
I want entertainment every second of this whole thing.
Yeah. I've given them enough money and annual passes over the years. They could have finished that room by now. Even if it's just like a blacklight snake or something, who knows what they could put in there. But it's better than nothing. There's even a part where the car stops and then starts again.
Yeah. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's like,
It breaks-
you stalled.
Yeah.
What is that for?
Suspense.
Yeah.
I guess.
If we make them stop in there, they'll think it was blank on purpose.
They're just trying to trick
Blank.
Hal's grandma.
Yeah, they dump a bucket of water on her every time we go on that ride.
All right, so let's now move. We have 2 more lands to go. We're short on time.
I also, by the way, I'm very quickly thinking about where the bathroom is in each one of these lands because I find that's something I think about while I'm at Disneyland. Like, okay,
Sure.
this is probably a good place. Now, yes, Adventureland, good bathroom. Let's go ahead and pop in there.
Never pass a bathroom if you're at Disneyland. Never pass a bathroom.
Yeah.
So let's go to my old stomping ground, Main Street, USA.
Uh-huh.
I know it's
Great.
not going to win. There's no rides, but it is beautiful.
Great moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Great
It's an
moments.
attraction.
Yes.
There.
It's very special.
It's special. It's where Walter
it
Parton
sets
is.
the tone for the whole park.
Yeah.
It's when you walk in. It is that iconic moment of walking in and seeing the long Main Street and the castle at the end.
Yeah. That's
I
pretty
love
magical.
Main Street.
And you could say the train is that's kind of
The train depot is
assign
there.
that to Main Street, and
Yeah.
that's a real special part of the ride. Why am I'm like condescending? That's a real
what I'm saying.
that's a real special part of the ride, kiddo. I mean, of the park, little guy.
I knew it wasn't going to win when both of you started going, and this.
Yeah.
Well, though,
Hey.
but for reals though. But this time,
Yeah.
honestly, I do love the models. Like when you go inside and you see what the original
Yeah.
Disneyland,
Yeah.
and I like small things.
I like that
And
too.
that's, I think, really cool.
Yeah.
And we all remember the magical moment where you first walk in and see Main Street USA and go, all right, where can I go from here that will take me out of this area? And to the rides I want to go on. No, I actually love it there. The food is great. I like the music. That's where the
It has the
barbershop
best
quartet
food.
is.
It has the best food in Disneyland.
Yeah.
Which is the corn dog. The corn dog
Very
cart.
popular.
The
Yep.
corn dog cart. And it was like Jonathan Gold or somebody.
It was Jonathan Gold.
That said it is the best food at Disneyland. It is a perfect corn dog.
Maybe it wasn't Jonathan Gold. I've never sounded more confident about something that I now regret.
Jonathan Gold.
Yeah.
I for some reason I did think that it was.
Yes.
But I'm immediately I'm backpedaling so fast on that.
It was an important development in Frankular history when they introduced that corn dog.
All right, let's talk about Tomorrowland, the last land we've got.
Is that wait, let's take a quick brief break for Galaxy's Edge, which should get points for being immersive.
Incredibly immersive, brand new.
Brand new, only one attraction, and it bothers me that there aren't more AGVA actors there. There's a great there's Savi's workshop where you build a lightsaber. Which I think I've done almost every activity there, and you helped consult on that show.
If you're playing the app-based game, which is, it's very forward-thinking and cool what Disney's doing with that. So, like, if they know that you are like, yeah, I'm in, I'm playing this game, they'll have things like an actor will come up to you and go, come with me. Like, they know who you are. They've got your picture. They've got a thing.
Whoa.
And so there are whole other experiences that you can have in there.
You're about to commit a pre-crime.
Yeah.
Come with me. That is advanced.
Yeah. It's wild.
Okay, great.
But yeah, it doesn't seem fair to, like, because not a ton. You've not been.
No.
Most people have not been.
No,
there yet.
I wept when I walked in there, but I don't think it's the best Disneyland land because I don't associate it with the park as much as just.
Yeah.
It's sort of an extra experience there,
Yeah.
and there's no better way for me to describe it than that. It's definitely worth seeing, but there's no way it can win Best Land.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about that mess in Tomorrowland.
Let's talk about Tomorrowland. I like Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland does look like its theming is it's the future of amusement parks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the future, America will have cars and submarines. Why does Autotopia still exist?
Those are yeah.
Yeah.
Those are part of tomorrow.
Yeah, they are. There's always a long line for a bunch of cars that will break down.
Man, though, when you were a kid, didn't you want to do it? You were like, I get to drive a car.
No, I was terrified.
Oh, all right.
I would never. I was so scared.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Go ride the Splash Mountain log flume, and that will build
I'm
up
a
your
pilot,
confidence.
everybody.
Yeah, and then you won't.
Yeah.
You'll skip the car and go straight to
Yeah,
pilot.
it was too pedestrian for me. I just didn't like those cars. I didn't care for them.
Wait, there were pedestrians on it? That seems dangerous.
Yeah. Hit each and every one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mother with a stroller who's just trying to run across real quick,
Yeah.
even though it had turned red. Wait. I wanted to ride it as a kid, and then I did, and was thoroughly disappointed because it never works.
But what about the fumes?
That did make me forget about it for a little while. When I woke up in the emergency room,
It makes my stomach churn.
Yeah.
When I'm near Autopia, I'm like, oof, I don't feel great. What's happening? And it is seriously just the fumes of the cars.
Or
That can't
you
be
had
good.
some OG Doritos as you
Yeah.
rounded the corner.
Not a chance. You're right. That land does seem most fraught in many ways, from like the revolving thing that was a disaster.
Carousel of Progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Captain EO was there, and now that's gone, and
It makes
Space
sense.
Mountain has gone through very many iterations.
yeah,
Star
it's now
Tours.
Star Wars again. Star Tours
Yeah.
is now only The Last Jedi, which is fine. I like The Last Jedi. I did like when it switched it up a little bit. And it feels like that land doesn't get a lot of attention. Buzz Lightyear is breaking down all the time.
I think the
Like
land.
what is that land?
The
right?
land as a whole does not get a lot of attention, but the individual attractions in it do, because it's constant, because of its Tomorrowland.
I mean maintenance. Who's
that's
fixing
funny.
these things?
Basic,
They're breaking
nut and bolt maintenance.
all
Like-
the time. Like, get a crescent wrench, get in there.
Yeah. Somebody's job is to go through at the end of the day with an old Chinese takeout container and just pick up all the loose bolts.
No, they send in a mechanic, and he's like, "Oh, this technology is so advanced, I wouldn't even know where to begin to fix this."
They do have to change Tomorrowland around a lot because it's got to be future looking. I think.
Is that why? I don't know. But I will say that anybody who has listened to me talk about Disneyland before knows that the People Mover used to be my favorite ride, only because for a very, very brief period of time you would go inside Tron, and that was like, I would ride that over and over just to be on the grid with the light cycles. So it didn't do much else, but it was a big deal to be able to actually be like, oh, recognize her! This might be the time it gets us! Good times. But that's gone. Screw you,
That's the thing, they
Tomorrowland.
keep closing a lot of the great stuff. Carousel of Progress was among my favorites, and they still in Orlando, but they closed it.
Mission to Mars? Is
Mission
that
to
even
Mars,
a thing anymore?
I'm not sure.
That the rocket is now part of Pizza Planet.
Yeah.
The rocket
All right.
still stands, but it's been painted a couple
Do you
times.
like Space Mountain? People
I
love
love
Space
Space
Mountain.
Mountain.
Love it.
But not enough for
Not
this
enough
to be a contender.
Yeah. Did I tell you my pitch for what I think would be an awesome entire redesign for Tomorrowland? I know I told Hal
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
Howard Stark's Tomorrowland.
Ooh,
Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
1950s version of the future,
Oh,
Howard
that's
Stark.
great.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, Disney.
Yeah.
So our two contenders, it sounds like, because I know we have to wrap it up. Our two contenders, it sounds like, right now are Adventureland, Adventureland, and New Orleans Square.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
I think so.
Is one jumping out to either of you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm sad.
I don't know why you're sad either.
Again, presumably all these other lands will be closed
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, we're
That's the
closing
only
down
way I could
everything.
explain my sadness.
Do you want to just 1, 2, 3 and then say it and see if we're all on the same page?
For the winner, yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
New Orleans Square.
Yeah.
People of the world. People of the world, you think you can put Pirates of the Caribbean or the Caribbean? Am I even saying that right? My whole world is upside down.
Caribbean.
Carousel. Carousel? Which way did I say it?
Carousel.
The carousel.
The dirtiest pronunciation.
You think you can put Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion in the same area with beignets and a bread bowl full of cheddar broccoli soup? And we're collectively not going to pick that as the best land? You need to be walled off by Winnie the Pooh. That's what you're thinking. Because that is the best land. It's New Orleans Square. Asked and answered. R.I.P. Ernie. How long ago did he pass away?
Within the last, while I was working.
Did you go to his funeral? Did you get invited?
I didn't get invited.
Ernie.
Guys, let's not disparage Ernie.
We forgive you. I was just more saying that like I miss Ernie. Shannon, do you
You were
miss Ernie?
sounding like you thought that Ernie controlled the guest list to his own
Don't you?
funeral.
Blaming Ernie.
Listen, if you think I'm not leaving behind a guest list when I go, I definitely will be. This is settled.
Yeah.
We're done with this.
Great.
This.
Varney,
Yeah.
thank you for being
Mark
here with us.
Agliardi, Hal
Thank you.
Loveland, what a pleasure. All of you, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Dragon Con.
Oh,
You, Janet Varney, you are a prodigious podcaster on your own. I almost messed that word up. I barely held on.
Prodigus.
I don't even know what it means.
You are a prodigious podcaster. Not only are you a sibling of ours on Max Fun with the JV Club,
Yes.
which everybody here should listen to all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Say it more threateningly.
You should be listening to this all the time, all of you. Those of you who left have left in shame because you do not listen. But you also are part of an improvised narrative podcast,
Yes,
Voyage
which
to the Stars,
which you have been a guest
which
on.
I've been a guest on.
Sure, you will be a guest on.
I will.
Season 2
it's
is
called Voyage to the Stars.
is
Yeah,
coming?
It's season 2 is in the works.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, with Felicia Day, Colton Dunn, and Steve Berg, and I are the kind of regulars stuck in a wormhole, stuck on the other side of wormhole, looking for Earth. Yeah,
That's
I
fantastic.
play a sarcastic AI.
Yeah. Anything else to plug?
I mean, let's keep it in podcast land. Because we didn't have to get rid of that one and shut it down forever because it's not part of
Podcast
Disneyland.
land.
Yeah.
That's kept. That's
Yeah.
to stay. At Janet Varney. on
Yep.
the- on
Follow
the
me on
socials.
Twitter at Janet Varney and at the JV Club on Instagram.
Well, thank you for
There
being
you go.
here.
Thanks for
Thank
having me.
This topic is closed, but there are many more to discuss. So please reach out to us on Twitter at We Got This Tweets. Check out the Maximum Fun subreddit or
Email us at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com or go to facebook.com/groups/wegotThisPodcast. Share your Disneyland memories. Special thank you to Dragon Con for hosting us yet again.
yes, give it up for Dragon Con.
Dragon Con, everybody here, tech team, all the volunteers do such a great job. Thank you to all of you for being here for another live show.
Yeah.
This is 5 in a row for us here.
Yeah.
My goodness. Keep coming back. The crowd keeps growing. That means so much.
I love it when I get to say this live. Thank you to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman. for our score and theme song, respectively.
Yes.
Find everything Mike has ever done and support it because he is a genius.
Yes.
And I really mean that.
That's Mike.
There he is. Also, thank you to our producer, Ken Plume, who's right there in the back of the room.
Ken Plume.
He is why we are here with you, gathered today, dearly
That's right.
beloved. Thank you to researcher Kate McManus. You can clap for Kate. Yeah. Graphic designer Uri Kelman. And QA engineer Jen Alba.
And once again, thank you to you, the people of the world, for giving us a chance to come here to Dragon Con and do the show and talk about a place that is very near and dear to all of our hearts.
Yes, after this, not too long after this, at 7 p.m., you can head over to the Westin for the Gonzo Quiz Show. Do I have that right? Featuring some of the people you have seen here in this show. But until next time.
For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin. And don't worry, everybody.
We got this!
We got this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Janet Varney, and like many of you, brand new sentient robots excluded, I used to be a teenager. In fact, just about all of my friends were, too, including folks like comedian Danielle Radford.
And of course, all of us, you take on that theater accent, and our teacher would say, no, that isn't how people talk.
Right.
Don't do the super theater kid accent. It's the worst. But so when I was doing theater in high school, of course, I immediately was talking about being in the theater.
So join me every week on the JV Club podcast, where I speak with my favorite women artists, innovators, and humans as we reminisce about the past and how it led us to becoming who we are. Find it every Thursday on Maximum Fun.
Well, Alexis, we got big news.
Uh-oh.
Season 1, done.
It's over.
Season 2, coming at you hot.
3 years after. Season 1.
Technically almost 4 years.
All right.
And now, listen, here at Can I Pet Your Dog, the Smash Hit podcast, our seasons run for 3.5 years. And then in season 2, we come at you with new, hot co-hosts. Named you.
Hi, I'm Alexis.
We also have Field Trip.
Dog tech?
Yeah. Dog news.
Dog news.
Celebrity guests.
Oh, big shots.
We'll not let them talk about their resume.
Nope, only the dogs.
Only the dogs. I mean, if ever you were going to get into Can I Pet Your Dog,
Now's the time.
get in here
Every Tuesday.
at MaximumFun.org.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Audience supported.